and welcome to today's show. I am Nada Bagat and you are watching AUC TV. Snipers on rooftops of neighboring buildings shot at the Coptic crowd mourning their dead in the cathedral, seriously wounding at least 17, including a Muslim activist and a photojournalist. Several tear gas canisters landed Sunday evening inside the cathedral's ground, causing a panic amongst women and children who attended the funeral. The event started when a mob threw rocks on Sunday at several hundred Christians marching in a protest against Egypt's Islamist government after the funeral of 4 Christians killed in sectarian clashes over the weekend. Women garbed in black wept for the dead, while mourners chanted defiant messages before the service began. The Christians were chanting slogans against Islamist President Mohammed Morsi, just as several thousand died earlier during the funeral service nearby in the Coptic Orthodox Cathedral in Cairo. The attacking mob, described by witnesses as residents of the area, forced the martyrs to take shelter inside the sprawling cathedral complex.
There was the funeral of the Christians and they were chanting slogans that provoked the Abbasiyya residents. Then the clashes started and they started throwing stones at each other.
According to the director of Egypt's National Ambulance Services, at least 17 people were wounded during the clashes. The 4 Christians, along with a Muslim, were killed in clashes on Saturday in a town north of Cairo. Coptic Christians make up about 10% of Egypt's estimated 90 million people. Since the removal 2 years ago of Hosni Mubarak, Christians have complained of the ethnic discrimination and the increasing attacks against them. A day earlier, 4 Egyptian Christians were killed in weekend clashes with Muslims. A 5th person, a Muslim, died during the violence on Saturday in the town of Khosus, 20 kilometers north of the capital. Police said that the clashes started when young Muslims drew inflammatory symbols on an Islamic institute and a local mosque. Christian onlookers and Muslims nearby began crawling, and soon residents wielding guns began firing on one another. Presidency and the Muslim Brotherhood, the Islamist group from which President Mohammed Morsi hails, condemned Saturday's violence. Reports say Christian Copts filed complaints to the presidency and the army. Many have denied reports that they had stored weapons in the church.
If Jesus had taught us to carry a weapon, we would have done that. We are sure that Jesus will bring back our rights, and we are patient.
And in AUC, a debate under the name of Egypt for All between the spokesman of the Islamist Noor Party, Nader Bakkar, and former member of the Egyptian Parliament, Mustafa Nagar. It took place on Sunday in Mu'taz al-Alfi Hall. Despite their positive attitude towards the postponement of the parliamentary elections, Bakkar said that it is the ultimate solution to resolve the crisis that the country is going through. Bakkar also said that the Noor Party will participate in the upcoming parliamentary elections.
There must be a strong parliament in order to express the whole political spectrum, and then be a strong elected cabinet able to adjust the unbalanced situation in coordination with the presidency situation.
On the other side, Mustafa Nagar said that he will not participate in the upcoming elections except in the case that there is a constitutional law issued by the Supreme Constitutional Court.
I think that the postponement of the elections is not in favor of the Muslim Brotherhood. As time passes, the Muslim Brotherhood seems to keep on losing due to the lack of significant progress.
In June 2012, the Supreme Constitutional Court had declared the dissolution of the Egyptian parliament. The Brotherhood had secured the biggest block of the seats in the elections in January 2012. On a regional level, Israel has opened its annual Memorial Day for the 6 million Jews killed in the Holocaust. The ceremony took place in Jerusalem, marking 70 years since the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, a symbol of Jewish resistance against the Nazis in World War II. Hundreds of Holocaust survivors and their families, Israeli leaders, diplomats, and others have attended the ceremony on Sunday that has taken place at Yad Vashem, Israel's official Holocaust memorial. The 1943 Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was the first large-scale rebellion against the Nazis in Europe, and the only act of Jewish resistance during the Holocaust. The Israeli flag had been lowered at half-mast, and a military guard of honor stood on at one side of the podium as poems and salams were read and the Jewish prayer for the dead was recited. On Monday morning, Israel is scheduled to come to a standstill as sirens wail for 2 minutes. During the memorial, Netanyahu also cited the Iranian threats to destroy Israel and vowed that there will never be another Holocaust.
The murderous hatred against the Jews that has accompanied the history of our people has not disappeared. It has just been replaced with the murderous hatred of the Jewish state.
The Hong Kong government announced on Monday that enhanced measures will be taken in an attempt to prevent the latest strain of bird flu, which is spreading from the Chinese mainland. The new bird flu strain H7N9 has already killed 6 people in China, which is the main supply of poultry. After an urgent meeting, authorities in Hong Kong and southern Chinese cities agreed to improve surveillance of important live poultry. Dr. Ko Weng-man, Hong Kong's Food and Health Secretary, has said that Hong Kong will start to take samples of important poultry to test for the flu strain. The results of the H5 and H7 tests could be known within a few hours.
At the same time, we will also conduct partial or total culling of all live poultry in Hong Kong, as well as suspending the import of live poultry to Hong Kong.
According to the World Health Organization, the last serious case of the bird flu came in 2009, which took the lives of over 6,000 people. There was over 500,000 reported cases of the H1N1 virus in more than 206 countries worldwide. On an international level, President Nelson Mandela has been released of the hospital after treatment for pneumonia. Southern churchgoers gave thanks in Sunday prayer for the improvement in the health of the 94-year-old former president. The anti-apartheid leader and Nobel Peace Prize laureate was admitted to a hospital in the South African capital of Pretoria on March 27. He was discharged on Sunday. South Africans at the Regina Monday Church in Soweto sang and gave thanks for the improvement of his health. Members of the congregation also said that their thoughts with their former president. During his time in hospital, the 94-year-old had fluid drained from his lungs to ease his breathing. Mandela spent 27 years in prison during the period of white racist rule that ended with his election to the presidency in a democratic vote in 1994. Members of the congregation during Sunday Mass have prayed, sung and danced for Mandela's recovery, like churchgoers Esther Molloy said.
I wish that God could give him more years so that we could be with him on earth.
In sports, tennis world number 1 Serena Williams came from a set down to beat Serbian Jelena Jankovic 3-6, 6-0 and 6-2 and claim the Family Circle Cup in the United States. After a rough start to the match, Williams won 12 of the next 14 games, including a backhand winner that Jankovic could not reach to clinch the victory. This was the second win in as many weeks for Williams after claiming victory in the Sony Open in Miami on March 30. Williams is planning on participating in the French Open this year and has goals set out for her year.
Well, I'm definitely not going to go in overconfident. I'm just happy to have another title under my belt. I have some goals for this year, and my goal is to win a match this year at the French Open, so that's it.
A 90-year-old woman has celebrated her 90th birthday by skydiving with her 2 sons. Marion Stengler decided that there was no time to waste in Alabama at the Emerald Coast Skydiving Center. The trio went through an hour of training and preparations in order to learn the procedures. They needed to learn how to cooperate with the professionals. Dozens of her friends from her retirement home were there on Sunday to cheer her on. Stengler was scared and could not wait to get back on the ground after this unique way of spending her birthday.
Well, the free fall was really scary. I didn't think that the chute would ever open. And when it did, I didn't even realize it. But I'm very thankful that I'm down on the ground.
Congratulations, Mom.
Oh,
Love
thank you.
Great
It was
job.
a wonderful job.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.